All right, we're about to have a little holiday dinner. We got the Dorado, aka Bream, however you say it. Bam. All we got is just thyme, salt, and pepper, light pepper. We got the scrimp. This is in a sofrito sauce. Got the little extra sofrito for the basting. A little bit of oil for the grill. And then, I don't know if you know me, I grill at any time. Grilling is everything, but got this is my grill. Her name is Asada. Little grill, but yo, this little thing does damage. So, get all my prep together. Somebody asked me, and another thing, how do you make the fish skin crispy and how do you make it not stick to the grill? So this is, first of all, this is the best thing if you're gonna have fish. It's a, I don't even know what you call it, like a fish grill, whatever. As you can see, it's already oily, whatever. So what I'm gonna do is, actually I'm gonna leave you here for a second, but we gotta mix this up. Mix up the coals. Bam. My tool of choice. Number one, not sticking skin fish to the thing. Get this shit hot. That's number one. And then the other key is, as you can see, there's already oil on the rack. So that's the other key. Got to have oil on it. So, but I'm gonna let this get hot first. And then I'm gonna put a little more oil on it. There's already oil on the fish, light oil. I use olive oil, it is what it is. And then it's gonna stop it from sticking. So I'm gonna let this get hot. I'm gonna bring all my prep outside on my little bench right here, and we're gonna get to work. Let's get this dinner popping. Fish and shrimp, baby. All right, about to get going. So the first thing, now it depends on how you want what you're cooking. Sometimes you want hot spots, so you put more coals on one side. Sometimes you want cooler spots, so you can sear on one side. Well, this side, as you can see, is all glowing on this side, so this would be the more hot side. And this would be a little bit cooler, but not really. You want to, but for me, I want to cook the whole fish pretty evenly and at the same time. So you just want to make sure your coals are spread out evenly. This one is not cooking, but usually you want to make sure your coals are white, so they're clean. No chemicals are going to be on your food. So for this side, it's okay to have a little bit cooler because the tail is going to cook faster than the main part. Now with this little grill, it came with something to keep the rack higher. I'm not going to use it. Technically, I'm a professional chef, so I'm going to give you some professional tips. And the number one thing you want is called mise en place. Just means everything in its place. It means all your seasoning is done, all your tools are out. I got my basting ready. This is out. Shrimp is done. Like everything is skewered. Everything is just ready to cook. When you cook, you do not want to be prepping. That's what's going to make you burn things, whatever. When you cook, you just concentrate on cooking. So, as I said, you want this. If you want crispy fish skin and you don't want it to stick to this, number one is to get this hot. Hot as shit. Now, if you can see, I don't know, let me see. I have thyme on this fish. You do not want this to be on the fish. This is good for the marinade, but if you put it over the fire, it's simply just going to burn and give you a bitter taste. And we're going to cook this side down first. And I'll show you. Let me go get my little bit of oil for the rack just to make sure no sticking. So it's got my little bit of oil in this cap. I simply take a paper towel. Bam. It's gonna smoke. You can do this off. It's gonna smoke when it hits the coals. Just wanna get this nice top and bottom. Now because this doesn't have a height adjustment, where I can move the rack up, I'm simply just going to hold it in my hand. Just do a little exercise while you cook, because the coals are too close to this and the skin's going to burn before it's actually cooked. So we're going to put the first fish down. Also, another thing is a great tool is the fan. So if you need to get a little bit hot, give a little bang bang with the fan. I don't want to get any hotter right now, and it'll start to heat back up your coals, because sometimes they settle down. Sometimes you want that. Again, depends on what you are after. But for right now, what we're doing tonight, I want crispy fish skin, juicy on the inside, so you don't. So also for the fish, if you want something juicy and cooked correctly, everything you cook, doesn't matter what it is, always cook it at room temperature. If it ain't room temperature, it ain't gonna work. Sometimes, and something is very thin, it's okay to hold on, train. All right. Sometimes, if something is very thin, it's okay to leave it a little bit cold, because that way you're going to cook the outside without overcooking the inside. But it has to be very thin. But with some things with some thickness or whatever, in general, it doesn't even matter what it is, even on that. If you can also do it by turning the heat, blasting it, if something is thin, and you're going to cook the outside, and you can leave the inside not so dry or well done, or whatever you want. But so right here, as you can see, it's a little more red, and as I said, this is a little bit cooler. It's kind of not going to matter for this situation, because again, I'm going to hold this rack with the fish in my hand to make sure it doesn't overcook or scorch or burn the fish. But otherwise, this is where the tail is going to go, so it's a little bit cooler because the tail is thinner. So we're about to get going. I got the fish. Okay. Now you can put thyme, a little bit on this side of the fish, if you like. But I've already marinated it. So we're just gonna simply take this beautiful Alvor Dorado as such. Also put some cuts in it to get to the meat. Cook a little faster, but also more thoroughly. And you can hear the sizzle, and there we go. Now, this is going to cook very fast on the outside, so because it's so close to the coals. So I'm simply going to hold it. I don't know if you can see. You're going to have to be the judge of how hot it is, your coals are. If this is going to give me a good sear, I'm going to leave it there for a second. And then I'm going to check the other side, because the smoke is all in my face. And then after a second, I'm going to check the other side to see how the skin is looking. As you can hear, it's already popped. So I don't want to cook crazy too fast, but I want to get going pretty quickly in order to keep the meat juicy. Use 2 hands. Pretty much as simple as this. And you're going to start to really want to turn it. You're going to see the edges get white on this side. And that's going to be an indication of turn it. You're going to want to cook like 75% on the skin side. So when you think about like that, that's going to tell you when to essentially flip it, because you want to, that's going to keep the skin crispy, by cooking it mostly on the skin side. It's going to help dry it out and remain crispy. If you keep flipping it back and forth or something, the skin is going to get moisture back in it, and it could kill the juiciness, or crispiness of the skin. Some of you guys say, well, you got the grill in it. Man up. Hold it for a few seconds. Fish doesn't take that long. Good little exercise. Even right now, give it a little check. Sizzling, but not crispy. This little part's falling out. I'm gonna fix this. It's better. You can always burn something, but you can't unburn it. And if you really, really want to just get crispy at the end, you can just put it low. So you can put it like right on the coals. It's almost going to be like a torch on it, essentially. But you only really get one shot at that so much. You don't want to, again, burn it. You don't want to char and blacken the skin to where it's like just flat. You want a nice brown. There's a little couple black spots is okay, but you don't really want too many black spots. That just means burned. I don't know if you can see on camera, but you can see it's starting to bubble up on this side, which is a good sign. Try to stay out of the smoke while I show y'all. And this is the beautiful thing about the fish. Grate, I believe it's called. And you can also lock it, like so. So fish technically, see this, puts it on there. Give it a flip, check. Looking good. This part fell out, it is what it is on this one. I should have checked on that better. I might lose that little piece, it's gonna suck, but okay. Now when you start to see it get a little more white, you know, you get closer to flipping it. You can maybe put it a little closer, but you can also flip the fish back on this side, and then when you're ready to crisp it up for the final crisp, to put it on the plate, turn it back to the skin side real quick and put it very close to the flame, and you'll be good. It's like a double fry almost. And like, let's say you want, you're cooking a little unevenly, and the head is not cooked as fast as the rest. So what you're gonna do is do something, just put it to the edge, right here, like so, and you'll start to just cook the head only. And now I need to do that. Also, if you want to, you can angle it up like this a bit, so the head cooks a little bit hotter, it's closer to the coals. And since it's further away, it's going to not cook as fast. And you can see it's boiling right there, which is what we want. Those are all the good sounds. Just a little check. And you see it's browning up, nice and beautiful. Babe, can you pass me the plate that we bought? Put it right here. Looking good. Again, I fucked this little piece up a little bit. Should have been there. That's my bad, but it's not going to be unedible. So presentation should still be good. And also, the skin side is going to be your presentation side, so you want to make sure you get it beautiful. Taste over everything. Let me say that. I'd rather have something that looks like doo-doo and tastes like gold, or tastes like heaven. Let's not use gold. Looks like doo-doo, tastes like heaven, versus something that looks like heaven and tastes like doo-doo. That's the rule for me. I don't care. Looks are overrated. I worked in a Michelin star kitchen. Looks are very beautiful in a lot of things, but a lot of the stuff is flavorless, or it doesn't have very good flavor at all. It's very much about technique a lot of times in Michelin star stuff, which is awesome. I respect the technique, but when it comes to food, flavor over everything, bro. My taste buds don't care how things look. So this is one of the problems I always had with bougie food, I guess. So now if you want to switch it to where you cook the tail a little bit faster, you can go like this. Give it a little more angle. See how we're doing? It's gorgeous. Alright, we're getting to the point where you can see it's getting a little wider around the edge, so I'm going to crisp it up a little bit by keeping it closer to the flame, or to the coals, excuse me. But you got to be careful. It's already cooking. You can get burning very quick. Give it a little check. This again, this is the beautiful thing about this fish grill. Everybody wants to cook fish, and I personally love fish split like this. I like bones. I don't mind bones. I think it's better for me. Now you can see it's getting a little dark there, whatever. So flip it to the other side. And this is where the fish, you can see it's stuck a little bit, but you see the oil? So you just touch it a little bit, give it a little shake. Don't just pull it. Put your tongs on the part that looks to be sticking a little bit. And don't worry about the other side so much because it's open flesh. You got a little more time. So sometimes you might need a little help. And bam, so there you go. Now we have, it's not going to stick. And I personally like to cook this side really hot. So again, because I don't want to lose, like, I don't want it to be dry out. So for me, I like to give it a little bit. I like to get a little brown on that side. Fish is a delicate thing. I really love cooking fish because of that. Once you know how to cook fish, like, I don't know. Like, proud of yourself. You cook fish, you can cook anything. Crispy, a little bit of salty. It's everything you want. And I'm also going to show you how to plate with this. You don't have to fuss with it so much and try to scrape it off this and then put it in a plate. No, I'm going to show you a super efficient way to do this. And beautiful, clean plating. You just essentially leave it alone. Check. You see, not brown yet. So again, I don't want it to get too dry. So also, you do not want a fire. So you can just, if you constantly just give it a little wave, it'll keep it hot without starting a fire. Okay, so that's about it. Most likely, take a little look. I'm just saying, bro. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna put it back on this side for a second. This is gonna need a plating. Lift this up on this side. Again, same thing as the last thing. There you go. Unstick it. Take your plate. Close the rack. Flip. Got one little piece got a little messed up. And bam. Look at that. I'm saying, bro. Come on. Crispy skin. That's one. So give it a little mix again. We're gonna start number 2. And the way we usually do it, we're gonna start picking at that one. Well, the second one. That's usually I give my girl that one first so she can start going while I finish up over here. Now you should have enough grease on the rack, but again, you want it real hot on the rack. So I'll just give it a little warm. Give it a second. And when you touch the fish onto the rack, it should hear a sizzle. That means it's hot. And it should not give you too much of a problem when it comes to sticking. Okay. Should be good. Let's get number 2 going. Same thing. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this. Just I showed you the first one. I'm just gonna do this off camera, and then I'm gonna show you the shrimp. Actually, I'd like to show you something with this. So the coals have actually cooled down a little bit because they just burnt away from the first fish. So for this one, the thing about grilling, you must watch. You must know your heat. So you can lay it down here a little bit longer if it's a little bit cooler. Just makes sense, right? You just have to know. So I can let this one sit down without me holding it a little bit because the coals have simply just cooled down a little bit. But it was still a very fast thing. Like, see it looking good. And this one, again, the head has more bone structure, and you want to make sure you cook that. So again, you can just tilt it up. So obviously the air over here, when the air is going to be cooler, it's going to be closer to the coals near the head. Now when I say cooler, it's not like it's freezing up there. It's still, shit's still hot. But it's significantly hotter here. And again, if you're having an issue where the tail is essentially cooked, you can angle it, like you could put the fish more this way and just make sure the head of the fish is on the grill, and while the rest of it is essentially kind of off the grill, but essentially cooking at a much lower pace. And that'll stop one side from getting too overcooked and whatever. This is what I love about grilling, because you got to constantly keep moving. It's an active cook. Can't really just sit here a lot of times. Well, depending on what it is, you know, depending on what you're cooking and the temperature, whatever. But for fish, for me, it's a very like active thing. I want to make sure everything is cooked at the same time and beautiful all over. I don't want one part dry, one part nice and moist. You see, it's nice. But again, the coals are cooler, so now I can kind of chill out. But you must check. Again, you must keep checking. You see, this is a thinner piece because the bones on this side. So if you don't want this to cook as fast and get dry, There you go. Now I'll put this over the edge of the grill. It's not cooking on that side. It's calming down. And this is going to continue to cook. See what I'm going to show you if I get closer. So you see how it's like a little more white there. I know it's kind of hard as night than it is on this side. So I'm going to cook this side a little bit longer. Just a little bit. Nothing crazy. And to allow that to catch up. And give it a check. Nice and beautiful. And once this side starts to catch up with this side, I'm simply just going to move it back over for a little bit, crisp it up, give it a flip. Good to go. And if you feel like it's getting a little too cool, which I do not, just give it a little fan. Get those coals back going. Nice and red. Just keep going. You don't have to go crazy. Just keep them glowing, and they'll be hot enough. And I'm almost there. Again, you want it, the skin is the presentation side. So you want to make sure that's beautiful, and you're going to cook the skin side. The skin's going to protect the meat from getting dry. So you want to make sure you cook it 75 to 80% on the skin side. And then when you flip it, very short time, very high heat, because this is the flesh side. So you don't want to cook it too long because it's just going to dry the meat out. You want to, bam, sear it essentially. My girl wants to eat with me, but I refuse to just have anybody have colder fish. Fish is, you gotta eat it hot. So she's in there munching. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that for a second. Let's check on her. Look at the salad. How is it? There you go. Let's go back. That's about as good as it gets. Now on this side, I'm fanning. Actually, before I fan, you want to make sure again. Bam. So yeah, easy, it lifts up. Just keep your tongs or whatever you have, just lightly tap it. Give it a little shake. Don't just rip it up, otherwise it can stick and rip up the skin. Now, this is gonna take some practice, you know. You gotta get used to it. You gotta, first of all, everybody's grill is different. Everybody charcoal's different. You gotta get to a point where you have an understanding of what's going on with the heat. This is not like one size fits all. You gotta figure it out. But once you get used to it, you're never gonna mess up fish again in a sense. Everybody has accents, but you're gonna love the beauty of getting this juicy, crispy, delicious, and everybody that's around is gonna love you more, including yourself. You see this little dark spot? That's where juice has been falling. You want to get a little more even. And stir it up a little bit. Get back on it. And the reason to smoke it so much is just because the oil's in the fish. If it stops smoking, you're probably making fish jerky at that point. It's gonna be dry as hell. But we're about done. And everything on this side. I'll give it just another second. Make sure the other side's crispy. And also this is cool because you can kind of put it on there just for a second and you actually warm up the plate as well. So the plate is not cold. Now don't do this too long, you're gonna burn the hell out your hand. But you also can get it nice and warm. Bam. Let me show you this thing. I'm saying, if you like fish, there's no better way. Put a little bit of wine. This. So I'm gonna pick on this in a second. But first, I'm gonna get back to the shrimp. So the shrimp, number one problem with shrimp is the same thing with fish. People cook it too long and too low. Shrimp are delicate. You want nice, soft shrimp. You don't want hard shrimp. So, same thing. Now I got these on a skewer. Actually, before I even start, I want the shrimp pretty damn hot. So the coals have lowered. I don't need all this space, so I'm going to push the coals. So the coals are a little bit higher, which means higher heat. Give them a mix. Shrimp are a fast thing. If you're sauteing shrimp, saute them first, and you got like vegetables or something. And if you look at a lot of Asians, East Asians, they'll cook the shrimp really fast and they take them out, cook the vegetables, and you put the shrimp back in at the end. So you don't kill the shrimp. Bam. There we go. I'm gonna do it the other way. There you go. Now the shrimp immediately. For me. Keep fanning. And I have my sauce ready to baste. So oil with the sofrito too. Now when you shrimp, you're gonna start to see them turn pink on this side, on the raw side. I'm gonna say don't touch these until you see it start to turn pink so you can get a nice, good char. And you really wanna pay attention, these are head on, so you wanna pay attention to the head gets pink. You don't want raw a head with a good body. All right, let's go see about that juicy fish real quick while that's doing that. I'll show y'all what I mean. Is the fish dry? Okay.
Just perfect.
Let's go in right for the tail. So moist. So crunchy. Not dry, it's gorgeous. Yup. Now you can see it's only been a couple seconds and the coals, maybe it's hard for you to see because this camera's not the greatest, but the coals already went down a bit, so. Bam, turn. Smells crazy out here, bro. almost done. Multitask. Fan and baste. Also, basting helps it from getting dry itself. So, but we are almost done with the shrimp. Now this is the marinade that the raw shrimp are in. So I'm gonna give it a little turn just to cook it, just enough. Give it one more second. Okay, that should be good. Shrimp again are fast. This side got, for me, what I like, a nice char. The head, you're gonna see is a little blackened. That's okay. You don't eat the head, but this side is a little less blackened. I'm gonna go for the. Let's see, I like the blackened side for presentation. Got my skewers. Lost the head, that's alright. Don't try this at home. Bam. Can't tell me that don't look good, bro. It's crazy. You can hold a second? Right here. Oh yeah, always soak these skewers in water for like an hour, a couple hours so they don't burn, but juicy. Let's see what she thinks. Are they dry? There it is. All right, we got the shrimp right here. Beautiful, crispy, crunchy fish. This one's already, rest in peace, buddy. Thank you so much for the meal. Always be grateful for things that were alive that are feeding you. Too many people throw stuff away, have no appreciation for what it takes to get this thing to your house. They can't fish, they have no skills. Always have appreciation for something given its life. Or someone taking something's life to feed yourself. So, we about to feast. I'm about to feast. Somebody's already halfway done feasting. And I hope this brought you some good information. Oh, I forgot one thing. Clean up. Well, two things. One, always have water with you just in case shit gets hectic. Two, I have no top for this grill or anything. Just an open grill. So the best way in the world to turn it off, any grill for that matter, that's charcoal. Simply cover it up. Cut the oxygen. Now you can wear oven mitts and whatever. I got kitchen hands kind of, so if you don't know what kitchen hands is, I mean, just you're so used to getting burned, you're so used to touching hot shit, scars all over your arm. You always know a cook because they got scars all over their forearms. Bam, cover it up. No problem. Zero problems. All right. I hope you found this informative. I hope you cook a better fish. Hope you cook a better dinner. If you have any questions, comments, hit me up below. Enjoy. Again, just to show you the juice. So just in case you think I'm like hiding something,